Hi guys, today is going to be a video featuring probably one of the cutest palettes of all time, at least the cutest palette in my collection. So this is the new Star Wars palette from Colourpop, and this is called the Mandalorian. Am I completely exposing myself in the first minute of this video? I'm so sorry, I have never even watched Star Wars. Please don't click out, I promise. I'm going to do this palette justice. I even wore my green sweater for the occasion, so that's gonna count for something, but this is the Child palette. So I will show you what it looks like. You've probably already seen it, but this is just absolutely adorable. I love this. I love the color story in it. I love that there are no pressed glitters. I love that there is a lot of depth in this palette. That is exactly what I look for in my eyeshadow palettes. And then, can you see the reflection of all the stuff that I have in front of me? Probably, but this little thing is just so cute. It says cutest in the galaxy, and then obviously you look at yourself in the mirror and it's like,
I'm the cutest in the galaxy.
I love that. Such a cute little touch. And I also just love this little frog here in the corner, and this shade is called Little Frog. I love the details in this palette. I just think that this is adorable. So we're just gonna go ahead and create a look with this. I did buy this with my own money, so I don't have the rest of the collection. This palette is currently sold out, but I did just look on Colourpop's website and they did say that they're going to restock on November 27th. So set your alarms if you want to get this. Maybe sign up for their email notifications or something like that, because you're probably gonna have to be quick if you want to get your hands on this. But let's go ahead and create a look with this. But I do want to do some swatches before we do that, just very quickly. So I'm just gonna swatch by Rose here and we will see how this palette looks. Normally I will just overlay my swatches in videos because I don't want them to take up too much time. But since this is a small 9-pan palette, I'm just gonna kind of do some live swatches here. Not going to thoroughly explain what any of the colors are, but I just want to see how the formulas seem. So the shimmers look really, really nice. I'm a huge fan of this one. Probably gonna use that in the look. The matte seemed really nice as well. Let's do some more swatches. That one swatched very, very, very sheerly. I'm definitely gonna have to use a tacky base and just pack that on for that to show up. That is a beautiful shimmer. It felt super dry and crumbly in the pan. I wasn't sure how it was going to swatch, but looks really, really nice swatched out. So I'm excited to see what these are going to look like on the eyes. I've never really had like issues with Colourpop shadows in the past. I wouldn't say they're my absolute favorite formula, but I think it's definitely fine. And I think that this is a really unique and different color story. I don't think I have anything like this in my collection, so I'm excited to test this out. So I'm going to prime my eyes. I'm going to use my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. And I do want to just apologize in advance if I'm having some issues with my camera. This is my second video that I'm filming with my new camera. The first one turned out really bad, but I'm going to post it anyway because I just don't have time to refilm what I filmed. But I think that this is going to be better. I mean, fingers crossed. If the autofocus and stuff is a little bit weird, it's just because I haven't quite figured out like how to work with this thing yet. So just bear with me. I will say that I'm very happy that Colourpop doesn't have any pressed glitters in this palette, and there's also not a lot of sequin shades. The only one is this green here, but there's really not that many glitters in it. After I swatched it, it definitely looked like more of an overspray, which makes me happy because I don't really like mattes with glitters in them. So I feel like the formulas in this palette are like very much me, so I'm excited to try this. So I think what I want to do is I want to do a two-toned crease. So I'm thinking I want to work with all of these mattes somehow. Maybe I'll just try to jam all of these shades on my eyes just so we can see how they look. I can't promise I'll be able to use all of them, but I'm going to try. So I think I'm going to try to use this one in the front portion of my crease and deepen it up with this. And then on the outer portion, I'm going to use this one as well as the brown. So let's go ahead and start with the middle shade here, which is called Baby Face. I'm just gonna place that, like I said, in the front portion of my crease here. And I can't be the only one who likes the idea of getting new phones or new cameras and just new technology in general. I like the idea of it, but then when it comes to it and I actually get the new stuff, I feel so overwhelmed because I'm so bad with technology that like trying to learn something new when you're so used to the old thing that you're using and the old thing that you're using is still doing great. It's like, why am I doing this? But at the same time, it's like you want the upgrade, you know? I don't know, the struggle is real because technology has never been my thing, so I don't really know what it is I'm doing. And if you guys are new to my channel, I apologize in advance if you end up subscribing and some of my next videos are a little bit iffy, but just know that I'm working on it and it's going to get better. So this color is beautiful. I really like the pigmentation of this. I was a little bit worried when I first swatched it, but I figured putting it on top of some kind of an eyeshadow primer was going to really make this pop, and I can definitely see that. It does take a little bit of building up, but that doesn't really bother me as long as it does build, and this one builds beautifully. Just taking this about halfway across my lid here, and then I'm gonna go in with the kind of light brown transition shade here, which is called Just Like a Tatooine. I'm sure that's a reference from the movie. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go into the shade right here, and I'm gonna use that as my transition shade to the brown in the outer corner. So I'm basically gonna just take this in the rest of my crease, underneath my eye on the outer portion, as well as a little bit into my outer corner as well. Just gonna gently tap these together where they meet. I don't want to over blend them, but I do want to just have a little bit of a blend between them. And this is blending out very, very nicely. I actually really like the tone of that. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of like very light browns. It's just not how I normally do my makeup. I don't really use a lot of transition shades, but I like that this is dark enough that I can really see it on my eyes. Like, it's not so light that, you know, it doesn't really serve a purpose, if you know what I mean. I might have to go in with a little bit more of this one after I go in with the darker brown, because I feel like once I go in with the dark brown, that's totally going to take over. But let's go ahead and first deepen up the inner portion of my crease here. I'm going to go into the darkest of the greens here, which is called Float Your Crib, which is this one. Again, I'm sure that is a reference that I just don't understand, but that's fine, because I don't buy palettes for the theme. I buy palettes for the color stories, and I have bought a lot of themed palettes that I really don't care for the theme, but I really like the colors, and that kind of goes for this one as well, even though I do think this is absolutely adorable. And I think it's really cool that they did make a collection like this, because I know how many people are huge Star Wars fans, and I think that they did a good job with this collection appealing to people who maybe aren't Star Wars fans as well. So I gotta give them a little bit of credit for that. So like I said, I'm gonna use this to deepen up the kind of minty shade that I put in my inner portion of the crease. This is laying down pretty nicely here. I'm not having any problems with patchiness or anything like that. And it also does seem to build very nicely. Like I said before, I haven't really ever had any issues with Colourpop's formula in the past. They are a little bit on the too buildable side for me, if you will. I do prefer a little bit more pigmentation straight off the bat, but I know that I'm in the minority, and I know that most people prefer something that can be built up kind of slowly. So I do think a lot of people are really going to like this. So now that I have this color down, I know it's not looking perfect, but I am going to fix it as we go here. So next up, I'm going to take this dark chocolate brown, which is called Droid Protocol, and I'm going to use that to deepen up basically the whole outer corner of my eye as well as under my eye. Just starting in the outer corner, and I'm going to pack this on and see how pigmented I'm able to get this. And I think for the inner portion, I'm going to use the last matte that I've yet to use, which is a green, just so we can test that one out as well. But this is building up so beautifully. This is looking really nice. It's giving me a lot of depth, which I love. This is performing so well. So just to kind of finish off with the mattes, I'm going to take the shade called Little Frog, which is the one that I talked about earlier. That's going to go in the front portion of my lower lash line, and then I'm just going to go over the mattes a little bit more, especially the light ones, and kind of bring those back, and then we'll go in with some of the shimmers.
Stepping out, it's Friday night. How I'm longing for this day. Yes, I'm single. Oh, we want to mingle, and my friends are on the way.
Alright, so I think this is looking quite good. I'm gonna go in with some of my NYX glitter primer before we put on some shimmers, because I want to make sure that these really pop. Just gonna take that basically all over my lid here where I want my shimmers to go. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and start with the darkest shade that I want to use, which is going to be this kind of goldy green shade. I think that's what I want to use. I'm gonna take a little bit of that on the same brush here, and I'm gonna start placing that in the middle and blending it outwards. Oh, that's really, really, really pretty. Oh, I like that a lot. I really like that. It's a little bit lighter than maybe I was expecting. I kind of wish that there was one shimmer that was just a little bit darker, but I also would prefer to have lighter shimmers over darker shimmers, so I'm not gonna really complain about it, but sometimes I like having a bit of a darker shimmer because it's easier to blend into my outer corner shade, but this is working very well still, and this is such a nice and foiled and metallic shade. I really like that. That's pretty. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it definitely has a little bit of a green tint to it. It looks like it's like a gold-green duochrome. Super unique. I really like that. I find that a lot with Colourpop shimmers, that they have like a little bit of a hidden shift to them, and I can appreciate that. So let's see what I want to do next. I'm going to go into this shade right here. I guess I'm going to try to just jam all of these. Actually, I'm going to go into this shade. This is the one that I want to have in the front portion. This one is called Right Hand Mondo or Mando. Probably Mando, right? I don't know. But that's going to go in the front portion of my lid here. Gonna leave a little bit of room just in my inner corner. This shade isn't as metallic as the one that I just used. This is more of a basic shimmer, but the color of this is really pretty as well. I'm then gonna go into the shade here called Sipping Soup, and that's gonna go on the front portion of my lower lash line. So I am going to be able to use all of these shades, which is very exciting. Just gonna pop that right here. Ooh, that's really pretty too. I really like that. That's super cute. This would be a really nice inner corner shade as well, even though it looks a little bit dark, but ow, I just jammed my eyeball. Anyway, I do think this is a really, really nice color. And then just for the inner portion to finish off, I'm gonna go into the shade called Precious Cargo, which is this very, very light shimmer. This is probably going to make for the most beautiful inner corner highlight. Gonna pop that right in here and then blend it into both the shade that I have on my lid as well as underneath my eye. It doesn't really look all that different from the shade that I put on my lid actually. It's very, very similar. That's interesting. I really thought that this would be very different, but I find that the lid shade that I used is pulling a lot lighter than what it is in the pan. Maybe that's why. I wonder if this shade is one of their Super Shock shadows, because digging my brush into it is a little bit hard to pick up and it's kind of like creamy. I haven't used any of their Super Shocks in such a long time, so I don't really know for sure, but I would kind of guess that it is. I'm gonna grab a little bit more of that outer corner shade and just bring that inwards a little bit. Since those two colors looked very similar, I just want to have a bit of a better gradient between the colors. And I'm also gonna take a little bit of the outer corner shade that I used, the matte one, and just tap that over the edge of that gold just so we can get a better blend. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off camera and finish off my eyes, and I'll come back and I will show you the look, but I do want to finish off the face with you guys. Alright, so this is the eyes done. I also decided to do my lipstick off camera because I am the worst at applying lipstick and it takes me forever. So for my waterline, I used Electric Empire by Urban Decay. I don't think this is available anymore. I think this was from their Game of Thrones collection, but I'm sure if you have a green eyeliner and you wanted to do something similar, that would work just fine. For my lips, I used a lip liner from Musee Beauty. I do not know the name of this because it's not on the pen, which is very, very annoying, but I will have it down in my description box if you want to check it out. I really do like these lip liners. And then on top, I used the Rare Beauty lipstick in the shade Thrilling. I love how dark and like warm toned chocolatey brown this is. I think this is such a flattering color and I really, really like the formula on these as well. So let's go ahead and do some blush and highlights. So I'm going to use So Retrograde from Colourpop. I figured since we're doing Colourpop, might as well just finish off with Colourpop as well. So this is going to be my blush today, and I am getting my hair done soon and I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to really like having an orange blush, since with my orange hair, I just feel like it goes so well with it. And I really, really do like this blush as well. I don't know if this one is available anymore. I know this one was a collab with Kathleen Lights a long time ago, so I'm not sure if it's still on their website, but if you've been looking for a orange kind of shimmery blush, I think that you would really like this because it's a beautiful color. And hi, if you're new, I like a lot of blush. Just thought I would introduce myself in case you're wondering why I keep piling on the blush as much as I am, but I just like it, okay? I just think it looks really cute. I love that blush on the nose. That is adorable. So like I said, I'm gonna finish off with highlighter also from Colourpop. This is the Villains highlighter from the, what is this collection called? I guess it's just called the Disney Villains Collection. This is the Cruella one. That's what I was trying to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. I'm not sure if it's gonna go with this look per se, but I still think it's going to be a really, really cute highlighter. I do really like the Super Shock highlighters from Colourpop. I don't have too many of them, but the ones that I do have, I really, really do enjoy. Like, see how nice and wet looking that is? It's just beautiful. Going to take a little bit of this on my brow bone as well. So I think that's going to be the completed look. I really like this. If we're gonna talk about the formula on the palette for a little bit, I mean, you can see me working with it. I didn't have any problems at all. The shadows did what I wanted them to do. It took a little bit of time to just like get them to be built up to maximum pigmentation, but that is what I look for in my eyeshadows. I always look for my shadows to look on the eye, what they look like in the pan, and if you don't mind something that's maybe a little bit lighter and you don't want to spend forever trying to build them up to be really, really dark and intense, this is perfect. And like I said, you could also build them up to be very, very nice and intense like I did today, and I think this look turned out really nice. The shimmers are beautiful, especially this one. This one is so unique. Like, I love the tone of this. It kind of reminds me of one of the shades in the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette that I have, like just in the tone and that it has a little bit of that green shift to it. It's beautiful. I really like this palette. I'm so happy to have it in my collection. I think it's the most adorable thing that I've ever seen, and I love that I match it now. Let me know if you guys ended up picking up this palette. I know a lot of you guys did, and please, if you do any looks with it, tag me. I would love to see what you come up with. I'm really happy with my look. I'm happy I was able to use all of the shades in the palette and just kind of show them to you. I had so much fun with this. So yeah, let me know if you want me to do more Colourpop reviews. I can absolutely do so. I get so overwhelmed, and I don't know, they come out with so much stuff that I just don't feel like I even have time to like buy something before the next thing is released. So a lot of the time I just kind of skip over them because there is just so much, you know what I mean? But if you want to see me review more Colourpop, please do let me know and I can probably do so. So thank you so much for watching as always. If you want to see some other first impression videos that I have, here is my playlist. And if you're new, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.